Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4.
It's Friday. We're all in our Badger red.
That's right.
It's a big Badger weekend. Jay Wilson is going to join us live from Indianapolis in just a little bit.
Preview of the big game.
Yep.
But first, here's what's making news on this Friday. If you're asking where your online shopping packages are, shipping officials are giving an update about why they're a little backed up right now.
We'll have the latest from the Pentagon, where officials say a student from Saudi Arabia opened fire this morning on a large naval base in Pensacola, Florida.
And we're only a day away from the biggest game of the Badger football season so far, the Big Ten championship game. As we mentioned, Jay Wilson is live in Indy as the team prepares.
Let's take a look outside today. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful mild weather because the change is in the air.
Yeah, near zero next week for the lows. So,
right, but the weekend looks good.
Yeah, enjoy it while you can. Chris Reese is out in the backyard for us on this Friday without a coat on. That's a good sign.
Yeah, you really don't need one. These temperatures have been milder per se for us. A lot of them have been in the 40s. And then when you have sunshine or even upper 30s, it just utterly feels good. We had the sunshine pretty much all day today. There were some flurries up throughout the UP and Michigan, but that's about the only snow that we've seen throughout the upper Midwest. We're cooling off though. We're 34 right now. Winds are out of the north and northwest at 6 miles per hour. With those clear skies, temperatures will continue to drop. 32 by 6 o'clock, and then we will likely fall all the way through the 20s as we go into the overnight hours. Expect those lows right around 22 degrees. The mild weather continues for the weekend, but there are 3 alert days that we are tracking into early next week. That's for the snow, 2 of them for the cold and the wind chills that we're going to be talking about coming up in just a few minutes. So you'll want to make sure that you stick around for the forecast as we look ahead into next week. Traffic-wise, this is the Beltline at Todd Drive right now. We are starting to see that volume increase along with the slowdowns, especially in the eastbound direction. If you're traveling from like Middleton over towards McFarland, make sure you're giving yourself some extra time as you begin to head that direction, just because you are going to run in to the slower traffic on the Beltline. We're also seeing some of those delays downtown right around campus. Be on the lookout for all the students and professors and people who are going to be out and about walking around as that evening rush hour commences. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with weather and traffic as we continue throughout Live at 4.
You are getting out of here in the nick of time. It's vacation eve for Mark with those temperatures.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Yep.
All right, Chris, we'll check back in just a little while. Thank you.
And there is breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. President and CEO of the Overture Center, Sandra Geitsch, has died at the age of 66. She's been battling cancer for the past 7 months. Geitsch took over from Ted Deedy in August of last year. Her co-worker said she had, quote, relentless energy and a passion for her work.
Oh, it's very sad.
It is sad news.
The annual holiday tree lighting was held this morning at the state capitol. Governor Tony Evers joined crowds of spectators and a choir to ring in the holiday season. This year's tree comes from a farm in Medford and is decorated by more than 2,000 LED lights and ornaments made by Wisconsin school children. The tree has also been a topic of debate as Governor Evers has decided to call the tree a holiday tree instead of a Christmas tree. A resolution to call the tree a Christmas tree passed the Republican majority state assembly last month. Postal carriers are predicting that this will be their busiest holiday season yet for online orders.
So if you've been wondering why your packages are getting to your home later than the estimated delivery date, Jamie Perez went to the UPS store in Middleton today to see just how busy they are. Jamie.
So I was only there for about an hour today. They had piles and piles of packages, several truckloads of deliveries, and they said when I was there, that was a light load. They said UPS alone estimates 750 million packages will be delivered through them this season. Now, what makes this even more challenging is that online shopping is becoming more and more popular, and this is the first time in 7 years that Thanksgiving and Christmas have been so tightly packed together, so they're trying to get more done in less time.
We're going to get everything in the system to the best of our ability, but trucks only have so much space. There's only so much real estate within those trucks to be able to actually send everything through. Some things are going to just take a little bit longer and get delayed. That's just how the logistical facts of it, with how many more packages there are this time of year.
The one thing that they want people to know to make sure that you do get your packages to their proper destinations is that you should require a signature on your deliveries. They say they know it's a hassle for some people who just want their stuff, but they've seen literally millions of packages being stolen from porch pirates already. And because they are so busy, they say the latest that you should be shipping stuff out through standard ground to get it in time to the destination for Christmas is December 13th. Now, they know that that's early, but it will take longer because of how much they're dealing with right now.
Yeah, time is running out.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
The Pentagon confirms the shooter who opened fire at a large naval base in Pensacola, Florida this morning was a student from Saudi Arabia. 3 people plus the shooter were killed. 7 others were wounded. The FBI is now leading the investigation. CBS News confirmed the name of the shooter as Mohammed Saeed al-Shamrani. Authorities say he was part of a group of international students training at the base. Investigators also say Shamrani killed 3 people and wounded several others, including 2 sheriff's deputies, before one of the deputies took him out.
When you have a foreign national involved, particularly in that part of the world, the investigation is obviously going to be different than if it were just somebody from a local community.
They learn aviation, they become naval aviators while they're here. It's something that we've been doing for quite a while, and it's with our partner nations. It's important.
There is no word yet on a motive or if the shooter was terror-related. Pensacola is one of the Navy's most historic bases. It employs more than 16,000 military and 7,400 civilian personnel.
An attempted robbery at a jewelry store in Florida led to the theft of a UPS truck, a hostage situation, and a shootout with police. Police swarmed a busy intersection in Miramar as they closed in on 2 armed suspects and the UPS driver who they abducted. The chase began near Coral Gables, about 24 miles away, after 2 men attempted to rob a jewelry store. The armed suspects exchanged gunfire with the store owner before hijacking the UPS truck. They led police on a high-speed chase, but when they hit bumper-to-bumper traffic, the police moved in.
The suspects are now deceased, but 2 additional innocent civilians were also deceased.
The gunfight killed an innocent bystander in their car nearby and the abducted UPS driver, 27-year-old Frank Ordonez.
Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee are working through the weekend preparing for an upcoming impeachment hearing and eventually voting on articles of impeachment. Natalie Brand has more details from Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration faces a 5 o'clock deadline to decide whether White House lawyers will participate in next week's impeachment hearing.
I expect us to respond by the end of the day, yes.
Monday morning, the House Judiciary Committee will focus on the findings of the Intelligence Committee's 2-month-long investigation.
Abuse of power that they laid out are likely what the Judiciary Committee will use to draw up articles of impeachment.
Articles of impeachment could be drafted as soon as next week and could include charges of abuse of office, bribery, and obstruction.
House Democrats have set the stage for a possible floor vote on impeachment before Christmas. Republicans say the end result has already been decided.
Facts, evidence, proof. It doesn't matter to Nancy Pelosi. It's all about politics for her.
The White House is ramping up preparations for a possible Senate trial early next year, a time when 5 senators running for president plan to be campaigning in Iowa and New Hampshire.
This couldn't happen at a worse time for them.
Professor Todd Belt of George Washington University says a trial could give the candidates who don't serve in the Senate more face time with voters and could also help President Trump's re-election campaign.
It absolutely bolsters his base. One of the things that causes people to really come out and vote is when they see a sense of loss.
Senate leaders have blocked off the month of January for a potential trial just ahead of the Iowa caucuses on February 3rd. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Amy Klobuchar, Cory Booker, and Michael Bennet would all be forced to take time off the campaign trail to sit as jurors if President Trump is impeached. Well, the Wisconsin Badger football team has landed in Indianapolis ahead of tomorrow's Big Ten championship game against Ohio State.
And that is where we find Sports Director Jay Wilson. Hi, Jay.
Hi, good afternoon, Mark and Susan and everyone back in Madison. This is the Badgers' return, the 6th time in the last 9 years to the Big Ten championship game, so everybody kind of knows the routine. And the routine on Friday is they present the Big Ten championship trophy to everyone, and the head coaches have their news conference. So that bright, shiny trophy was certainly on display today. And Brian Day and Paul Christ gave their final comments to the media. And of course, one of the big topics was the last time Wisconsin and Ohio State met 5 weeks ago. That was in rainy Columbus, Ohio, and Ohio State beat the Badgers 38-7. Ohio State is still ranked #1 in the country. They are still the team to beat. But what can the Badgers learn from that first meeting? Here's Paul Christ.
In fact, at the first Big Ten championship, you know, we played Michigan State and then saw them again. I think it helps your players understand, you know, a little bit more about the things you can't see on film. You know, I think of it as kind of how the game felt, you know, feeling going up against them. And so I think there's certainly some things to be taken from. But, you know, I also believe you're not replaying that game. You know, that game happened. But I think your players can take some things away from them that can help them on both sides.
A couple of late injury updates. The Badgers announced that A.J. Taylor, their wide receiver, will not play in the championship game tomorrow. He suffered a knee injury in the game against Minnesota. And Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields, who's been having some knee issues, has been wearing a brace. He has been deemed 100% good to go. So bad news for the Badgers, as one of the top candidates for the Heisman Trophy looks to be at full speed for tomorrow night's game. Starts at 7 o'clock. Ohio State, a 16.5-point favorite, but you just never know. Mark and Susan?
You never know indeed. Jay Wilson reporting live from Indianapolis. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Still to come tonight at 4, we'll preview a star-studded concert tonight, which benefits a very good cause.
We'll talk with the organizer of the sold-out show, Joey's Song, and how you can watch it online. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, for the first time, Uber is confirming thousands of sexual assaults involving its passengers and drivers.
In a new report, the ride-sharing company says about 3,000 assaults were reported last year alone. More than 200 of those were allegations of rape. Uber says the report was necessary for both customers and the company. In the 2 years Uber measured, 2017 and 2018, there were nearly 6,000 reports of sexual assault involving passengers and drivers. Faiz Siddiqui is a technology reporter at the Washington Post. He says the numbers are significant for Uber and for the entire ride-sharing industry.
That's a large number. It suggests that there is a huge societal problem or extension of a societal problem that's happening on our ride-hailing trips.
Uber, as well as the rival ride-sharing service Lyft, have faced harsh criticism for not doing enough to protect the safety of riders. Dozens of women are suing Lyft, saying the company should have been doing more to protect them from driver assaults. Lyft says it's committed to safety and will release its own safety transparency report as well. Online shopping has led to more Americans having products delivered right to their door.
Trucks are the traditional way to get it there, but now a new method is taking flight. Drone deliveries, all the buzz in Christiansburg, Virginia. That's the town where the Google-owned company Wing is testing the technology. Jonathan Bass is with the Google-owned company Wing, which is teaming up with Walgreens and FedEx. The pilot program allows people in the town to order certain items online. A package is filled and then tethered to a self-flying drone. After reeling it in the machine, it uses a camera and GPS to find its destination.
What's been the biggest demand you've seen regarding deliveries?
Generally across our trials, it's the snacks and edible options that are the most popular.
So even with advanced technology, humans are still the same. We still like to impulse buy food.
Yes. Our delivery typically takes, 10 minutes or less.
Americans' need for speed has other companies racing to meet this market. Amazon's been developing drones for years. CVS and UPS are partnering as well. The expectation is the flying machines will be used to fly from a nearby store or complete the last mile of a delivery from a truck. Well, good news for workers. The U.S. economy added 266,000 jobs last month. Those gains included about 50,000 General Motors employees who returned to work after a 6-week-long strike. Other jumps came from the healthcare sector, which added 45,000 jobs, and an additional 45,000 jobs in leisure and hospitality. The unemployment rate fell slightly to 3.5%, matching a 50-year low set in September. Workers also boosted their incomes with an average raise of 3.1% over the last year. Weak gains were seen in retail and construction. Those sectors also showed low unemployment rates, suggesting employers are having trouble filling open jobs. And that report sparked a stock market rally. The Dow Industrial surged 337 points, ending the week at 28,015. The Nasdaq added 85. The S&P 500 gained 28.
Well, there is a concert at the Barrymore Theater tonight with a whole lot of talent. It's hard to describe the talent, really.
The annual Joy Song benefit concert kicks off tonight at 7:30. Earlier, we spoke with Mike Gamal, the DNA Music at the DNA Music Labs on Winnebago Street, where preparations were underway for tonight's performance. All right, Mike, first of all, tell us about the Joy Song benefit. What is this all about?
Yeah, so Joey Song was started about 10 years ago when my son Joe lost his fight with epilepsy. And so my wife and I and our family decided to start a charity to try to help the next family. And so we started getting music CDs together, and unfortunately our timing was bad because we started doing music CDs right around the time when people stopped buying CDs. But with each CD that we released, yeah, good timing, right? We would release a CD and we would have a party. And I started to notice, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I noticed that we would make more money off the CD release party than we would off of the CDs itself, and it was a lot more work to do the CDs. So gradually over time, it turned into the format that we have now, which are these benefits. It helps if you've got a lifelong friend named Butch Vig, who's an icon in the music business, to help you bring in artists and do that. But it's something that we've done all along to try to raise money for epilepsy awareness, and it's just great.
You also have some celebrities and some big names coming to the concert tonight, including someone from Hamilton in Chicago. Tell us about that.
We do. So Miguel Cervantes, who's the Hamilton lead, and has been for the last 3 years, is coming into town tonight to play at the benefit. He's going to do Jackson 5 medley and mix in some Hamilton songs, as well as an original song he wrote for his daughter Adelaide, who he lost to epilepsy as well. So it's both, it'll be a fun performance and a bit of an emotional one as well.
Any other big names?
Yeah, so we've got a bunch of cool folks. Brian Ray is coming, and Brian has been Paul McCartney's guitarist for the last 2 decades. He also records with Smokey Robinson, so that's a pretty big pedigree. We also have Chris Collingwood, who's the lead singer in the band Fountains of Wayne. I will not sing Fountains of Wayne songs, but people probably know Stacy's Mom and some of the other hits that they had, plus Dax Nielsen, who's the drummer in Cheap Trick, and his brother Miles Nielsen. Trapper Shep is joining us. We've just got a ton of folks that are going to all be playing with Butch and the rest of the Know-It-All Boyfriends.
That is incredible
It
lineup.
really is, yeah.
So the concert is sold out, but people can still donate and see the concert online?
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have a webcast both on Facebook Live, if you go to the Joey Song Facebook page, or joeysong.org. We'll have a full webcast of the show, and because we're doing this to raise money, there'll be a big fat donate button underneath it, and we'll take 50 cents, we'll take $1.50, we'll take whatever people can do. Every penny helps us in the fight. But yes, even though you can't get into the venue, you can certainly see the whole concert.
What a great cause and what a great concert is going to be. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Keep up the great work, Mike. Great to see you.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks, guys.
joeysong.org or on the Facebook page.
There's more at 4 when we come back. A look at what's coming up this weekend on CBS Sunday Morning.
And tonight at 5, people are speaking out after officials with Edgewood College remove information about Planned Parenthood from their website. We'll be back. Take a look at this. Architects in London traded concrete and wood for biscuits and dough to create the Gingerbread City, a futuristic city made of edible treats. The annual exhibition put together by the Museum of Architecture showcases buildings by architects, designers, and engineers who've been asked to create a sustainable and inclusive city of the future. This year's display had the theme of transport and featured high-rise buildings, apartments, office blocks, a university, stadium, cinema, tram station, urban farm, and a ferry terminal.
I love that idea. Why have a gingerbread house when you can have the whole city?
The whole city. I don't know how long it took to put this together. But
that's a great idea.
That looks like something I played with as a kid. For Christmas, my parents used to just get me the magnetics where you could build buildings out of them. And I would design buildings and then build entire cities. I got to take over the garage and I added lights and highways.
Well, look at you.
That's impressive.
I know. They told me to be a civil engineer, but I liked weather better.
We got something to fall back on here. If this doesn't work out.
Maybe one day. I don't know if I want to go back to college for it, but I'll tell you what, we're going to be busy as we go through the weekend and early next week. We're tracking a big change in our weather pattern. The details are coming up after this break. It was a beautiful weather day that we had here across south central Wisconsin, and you know what? I think we're going to be staying mild and with some sunshine as we go into the first half of the weekend. But changes are brewing as we head into next week. Light snow is likely by Monday, and then the Arctic air comes our direction into the second day of next week. Today, we were above average in terms of temperature. We topped out at 38, our normal high is 33. Our morning low was 30. Typically, we're waking up right around 19 degrees for this time of the year. We're at 34 right now. With the sun starting to set, you are going to watch those temperatures begin to step down with about each hour as we go throughout the evening. Winds are out of the north and northwest at 6 miles per hour. But folks, things are clear, and they're going to be staying clear for at least a little bit. So look for clear skies in Fitchburg. Same as you work your way over towards Arena, look for clear skies. Same for our friends over in Cross Plains. Broadhead, Edgerton, Evansville, things are still going to be quiet for you as you go through the night. Here's high-resolution Doppler throughout the viewing area, and you still see southern Wisconsin is good to go for the next several hours. Let's go ahead and time things out for you as we move through tonight. Look for those lows falling into the low 20s. You're waking up Saturday morning. It will be cold. Make sure that you do grab a jacket. By Saturday, 2 o'clock, we'll see those temperatures already where we are for those highs today. We'll be right around 38, but I think we'll still warm up a couple more degrees. So here we are by 4:30 tomorrow. That's when those temperatures will likely be right around 40 degrees or so. Tomorrow night, into Sunday, we begin to see the cloud cover on the increase. That is the change that I was talking about, and that's ahead of the next system coming our way, but we're still going to be dry. So folks, if you're hanging up the outdoor lights, I'm telling you, do it this weekend because Christmas is coming quickly and the changes are brewing next week. This weekend is probably the best forecast you're going to get if you want to get outdoors and change that. High pressure still in control, but that slides towards the east. Once that happens, we start to get in on a southerly wind as we move into Sunday. What that southerly wind does is increases the moisture that we will see. Thus, the cloud cover is on the increase, and watch what happens as we get towards Monday at 7 o'clock. We will likely see rain throughout southern Wisconsin. Pay attention towards the north. You see the mix, and then you see the snow to the north of that. Colder air takes over, folks, so eventually we start to see that move our direction. Here we are at 1 o'clock Monday. Notice the snow starting to mix in with the rain. We get that wintry mix through Madison at that point. The Dells and points northward are dealing with snow. Then we move you towards 6 o'clock. Colder air takes over. I think it's all snow at this point. Keep in mind, I did just say 6 o'clock. Monday evening commute. This is something you're going to be wanting to pay attention to as the forecast evolves as we go through the weekend. By 9:30, I do think a lot of that begins to move on out of here, and accumulation will be possible. We'll fine-tune those numbers throughout the weekend. But folks, it's the cold that comes in after that. We are talking multiple rounds of some Arctic cold, and honestly, that could last through the middle part of December. The 6 to 10 day outlook does call for below normal temperatures, along with a chance for above normal precipitation. I don't know about you. I want a white Christmas around here. Maybe this year is the year that happens for a little Texas boy who's never seen snow on Christmas Day. But in the meantime, bundle up because we have a low of 2 Tuesday night into Wednesday. It will be cold, a high of 14 by Wednesday afternoon. More chances for snow as we approach next weekend as well. So we're going to turn a little bit more active in our weather pattern, but we are certainly cold in the week ahead.
We always tease you that you time your vacations perfectly. And
I did again.
He's going on a 2-week cruise.
You did it again.
And you did it again.
I'm here tomorrow, so I'll enjoy tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, thank you,
Thanks,
Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, Dana will be here this weekend. She'll keep you up to date on the weekend forecast.
And then stay tuned for CBS Sunday Morning. Jane Pauley is with us once again. And Jane, we understand you have a lot coming up on Sunday morning, including a look at from the young to the old.
You bet. We do span the decades this week. A 17-year-old with one of the biggest debut albums in history, and a comedy legend, Mel Brooks. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, The Producers. He's been making us laugh for nearly a century. Here's a clip.
From a very early age, I knew that comedy was my business. Comedy was my thing. It was me. Because people would look down at my crib. I was only a few months old, and they would laugh. And I said, that's it. That's it. That's what I want.
When did you know that you were funny, that you could make people laugh?
In school, I guess. You know, my neck still hurts from being taken by the neck to the principal's office because I was terrible.
A brilliant, funny man, 93 years old, and Mel Brooks has a lot of stories to tell about life in comedy and about the love of his life, actress Anne Bancroft.
I was going to ask how old he was. 93. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, adorable, funny.
All right, what else is on the show this weekend?
Well, we got that red-hot newcomer I alluded to, Billie Eilish, 17 years old, with 6 Grammy nominations in a single year, and a conversation with football great Rob Gronkowski, who many will know as Gronk, and a question, what's with all the dollar stores? All that coming up on Sunday morning. We'll see you then.
Can't wait. Sounds like a lot of great stories. Have a great weekend, Jane. We'll see you Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to record that. Still to come at 4, we're headed to the movies. A popular line of toys are the stars.
The movie is called Playmobil the Movie, and we'll have a preview when Live at 4 continues.
Here's a shot of downtown Madison from our Edgewater camera. Sun setting on the capital city after another nice day. Just in time for the holidays, a popular line of toys gets the big screen treatment.
Rick Damigella has a preview of Playmobil the Movie.
Rex Dasher, for your next mission, we're partnering you with 2 civilians, Dell and Marla.
Those 3-inch plastic figures come to life in Playmobil the Movie.
Well played.
This way, after me. The animated adventure features the voice talents of Anya Taylor-Joy and Jim Gaffigan as a couple who fall into intrigue with secret agent Rex Dasher, voiced by Daniel Radcliffe.
At your service.
The movie is based on the Playmobil toy line created by Hans Beck in 1974.
Tell the boss Dell's here to see her.
I got Adele down here asking to see Miss G. No, not Adele. That would be awesome.
While original Playmobil figures' faces have a simple cherubic design, Playmobil the Movie adds more features and expressions to its characters, while maintaining the overall look of the original toys.
Well, well, look what we have here.
Adam Lambert makes his voice acting debut as Emperor Maximus.
And what do we have here? Your worst nightmare. You're not a pinata full of bees.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
That looks like one for the kids.
Yes, it does.
From a Playmobil to a Broadway play, specifically one called Straight White Men.
This comedy opens tonight at the Bartell Theater, and our Michael Bruno goes backstage to check it out when Live at 4 continues.
Happy Friday, folks. We want to make sure everyone gets home safely or gets to wherever you're going safely. This is the Beltline right now at Todd Drive. We are certainly seeing a higher volume of traffic on the roads, and with that, you are starting to see some of those slowdowns as well, especially once you begin to approach Verona Road and then you go all the way east towards West Broadway near Monona. Some of those slowest speeds are down towards 17 miles per hour, about 30 miles per hour as you begin to approach Fish Hatchery, 23 miles per hour as you get closer towards Rimrock Road. As we move downtown towards campus, we're seeing some of those slowdowns as well. Regent Street, then you work your way onto Johnson Street along with the westbound direction of University. Folks, as you begin to travel, the slowest route right now is going to be eastbound from Verona Road to John Nolan. That'll take you about 12 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you. Anyone looking for the world's fastest dumpling maker will find her in Poland. Beata Jacek is currently holding the current holder of the Guinness World Record for making the most pierogies in 1 hour by hand. Her magic number, 1,066 pierogies in an hour.
Wow.
That's one every 3.4 seconds. She says the type of dough, the stuffing, and good old-fashioned pressure are the keys to speed. Every day in her restaurant where Jacek works, she rolls out 2,500 pierogies for hungry guests. Have you ever had one?
No.
My grandmother used to make them from scratch. It's basically pasta with mashed potatoes in the middle.
But you can make them sweet, too, I was reading.
Yeah, I mean, they're
And what do you put on top?
out of this world. They, savory or sweet, you can eat them either way. Oh, now we're hungry.
Try it, yeah.
During the Christmas holidays, 3 brothers returned to their Midwestern family home to keep their widowed father company.
Straight White Men is the first play written by an Asian American woman to be produced on Broadway. It opens this weekend at the Bartell Theater in Madison, and our Michael Bruno went backstage to check it out.
Well, here we are. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Straight White Men is a play about 3 sons who gather at their father's house for Christmas.
I'm glad to have you boys home.
Is that privilege? Why, yes, it is.
One of your mother's craftiest inventions.
And the eldest son, Matt, which is the character that I play, had a very promising beginning, very good education, great work record, and has moved back in with Dad, and suddenly doesn't seem to be living up to his potential.
I seem to recall someone here starting his own school.
They're playing this game, and as you can see from the set, it is a game board, and so that's how the play unfolds, and these characters are able to explore how they fit into the world.
So's Mrs. Johnson.
Oh, did you fix her sink?
So Drew is the youngest brother. Because of that, he's a little bit more annoying. And he is also a professor, a tenured professor, and a award-winning novelist. So I think that's one of the interesting things about his character is that you have who he is on paper. He's professor, award-winning novelist, all those very sort of serious academic things. But when he's around his family again, it just, all that melts away and he's a kid again.
And at the end of Act 1, something occurs, which takes the family into a very deep conversation examining what is it like to be a man in modern America? What are the pressures, expectations? What's the interplay between the privilege we have, being straight white males, and the pressures on the culture to be this, be that, to always be in charge, excelling?
What did the Times critic call it? A radical attack on the crassness of American materialism.
So I play a person in charge, so I'm not actually part of the family. There are two people in charge who kind of observe how the family dynamics are.
We do have some interaction with the characters, but we, like the audience, are really there to listen and watch and pay attention and learn from what we see.
They have the family who are straight white men, and the people in charge who are not straight white men. They are individuals of color who are all over the spectrum of, honestly, being human.
The teacher Terminator.
That's right. Matt got the drama teacher fired also for only casting white people in Oklahoma.
It is very much a play of the current gender politics, the way we are examining gender and gender identity in whole new ways. And the playwright young Jean Lee takes us into, while we're examining all of this shifting landscape of gender, what's happening with the dominant, most privileged group among us as that landscape shifts. And as we examine, there's privilege, but there's still cultural pressure. And how do those two things interact? And that's kind of where the friction is.
He taught us how to fight and the small unit tactics, all the things a big brother's supposed to teach you.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you learn all that stuff, Matt?
Who knows?
Books.
And Michael is here now. It's very interesting.
It's really a fascinating piece of theater. It really does. It really explores what it means to have privilege of being in straight white males, but it's written by an Asian woman, which is really kind of powerful to see how she perceives the world and what's going on and what she has to say by having it be involved with these 3 boys and their father.
So it's not really a Christmas tale.
Well, it's not really. It just happens to take place over Christmas. So that's the Christmas theme, that they come home for the Christmas holidays.
It is Straight White Men at the Bartell Theater Friday, tonight, through Saturday, December 21st on weekends. Go to bartelltheatre.org for tickets. And next week?
Next week, it's Hedwig and the Angry Inch at the Crucible. Go, Bucky!
I love that hat. That is a great hat.
Hope you can wear it further down the road here.
Yes.
That they win.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks,
Have a good
Michael.
weekend.
You too.
We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
Roll playback.
Another nice day tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be fantastic. Tonight's going to be a little bit chilly. Partly cloudy skies. Look for those lows falling down towards 22. But I think we see the sunshine tomorrow and highs right around 40. Folks, get outside. Enjoy that. We'll be a little bit warmer on Sunday, but then the cold and the snow do arrive to start off next week.
A low of 22 is going to look good next week for the high.
Yeah, it really will, because next week there will be some days that we will not get that warm.
You're going to be on the Lido deck with an umbrella in your drink.
At this time of the day?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, thank you. And Monday, here at Live at 4, we're going to meet our Pet of the Week from the Dane County Humane Society.
And our film critic Will Loper will review the new romantic action movie, Aeronauts. That's coming up Monday on Live at 4.
For a clear, easy-to-understand forecast, watch First Alert Weather.
Finally at 4, like everyone else, Lola and Louie are looking forward to the weekend.
But before they punch out for the week, they have the best animal stories of the week in the News Hounds Now update.
It's News Hounds Now Update with Lola and Louie.
This week on the News Hounds Now update, some soaking monkeys.
Hundreds of elk.
And thousands of deer.
But first, the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore captured a lovely moment between a chimpanzee, mother and daughter. The video shows Bunny, a 29-year-old chimp, taking care of her daughter Lola, who was born on July 5th of this year. The zoo wrote, "Just some adorable mother-daughter time." It certainly is.
A much more rambunctious mother-son time took place at a zoo in eastern Thailand. This male baby pygmy hippo was born a month ago, and he sure has a lot of energy. Little guy's drawing thousands of people to the zoo, and officials are inviting visitors to vote for his name. The choices are based on two popular food choices translated as braised pork and pork feet. Pygmy hippos are native to West Africa and are 1/10 smaller than the common hippopotamus.
Why did the elk cross the road? Well, who knows, but they did it right in front of a news crew in northern Colorado. The crew was blocked by hundreds of elk, really a spectacle to behold.
That's nothing. A driver in the north of Russia waited patiently, stuck in an unusual traffic jam. A massive herd of more than 3,000